And good evening. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here from the Highliner Activities Center on this Wednesday night. A beautiful night, sun shining. Birds aren't chirping quite yet. Some of them are, but we're going to get things started tonight. We got our two T's, track and tennis, our topics here tonight. We're going to start off with track and field. Coach Trevor Bachelor joining us. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Things are looking better with that sunshine, so it's just not snow's not going away fast enough.
But they were able to get on the track today for the sprinters?
Yeah, today was nice. The kids ran up there and did a little workout, which was nice. They like being on the track. It's still a little wet, but things went pretty well. Cross country was out there the other day, so we're getting closer.
You've had a couple of indoor meets at Concordia College and NDSU.
Yes.
And actually some pretty successful meets. I think it was the Concordia meet that the girls won overall. The boys, I think, finished 4th or 5th, maybe 6th in there. But so far, Coach, a lot of PRs. Kids really looking good numbers-wise as far as their times and everything. Anything that has impressed you about this group here in the first month of the season, if you will?
I honestly just their their flexibility, dealing with the adversity. They've done very well. Obviously, when we're running inside, things like that, it's very tough to train, running around corners and hallways, a little bit on the sidewalks and things that we can do. Mm-hmm. So for them to go out and perform the way that they have to me, is really impressive. And you mentioned the meets that we've had at NDSU have been really good. They had a really great meet at Concordia. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but through the athletic.net, it's a great source. So I got to watch, follow the meet as it was progressing on. There's videos. You get to watch the kids perform, so that was a really nice thing.
I actually sent a couple of videos to a parent that couldn't watch her son compete because they had to turn on and come back because of the roads. Mm-hmm. And so I said, well, here's the video. So at least you got to see a little bit of what was going on.
Yeah.
And but I tell you, I know one indoor school record fell. Was it in the 800 with Greta Govan? As a matter of fact, 1 and 2. Greta was 1 and Regenberg was 2.
Yep. And now, we had with the two girls have been running awesome, and they're just going to continue, I think, to break those records in the school. But the big surprise too was Parker Jacobson, who came out and set a school record. So now he's the 55 junior, leading that, which was really awesome. And then in her first meet was Madison Wendell in the 55 hurdles. Just came out of there blazing. So she was out before and then missed a season, and now she's back again. And so that was a great performance out of her.
Are the kids just excited to be out there and competing, regardless if it's indoor, outdoor, whatever?
Yeah, they want to get on the track and they want to compete. You train so that you can compete. And so the fortunate part with these things getting canceled, is we're trying to scramble and find some things for those kids to do and try to keep them interested as much as we can. And it was really nice for NDSU to pop up this next meet. It wasn't on the schedule, but with their team being, I think they're out in California or something, right. They decided to host, and they've got a bunch of the teams working the events, but they're willing to put it on and let us use the facility. So that was really nice.
So that's tomorrow, and I think it starts 11 for the girls and 4 for the boys.
Yeah, so because the meet was so big, they had to split it up.
Yeah,
which is nice. It helps to alleviate things and keep the meets flowing pretty good. So you basically get 2 meets in one. It gets to be a little bit of a long day, but it's great for those kids. And I think we have just about everybody going to compete, so that's nice to get them all involved and keep them going. And then next week we're supposed to head to Fargo South potentially.
Right.
Fargo still has a little bit of ways to go with their facilities, but we're crossing our fingers, and so are they, that we can maybe get something going. Otherwise, we'll switch gears and we'll try to look at maybe doing something here if we can. Maybe there's no discus, but at least we'd be able to compete on the track potentially. So
I think they were supposed to do a Lisbon meet yesterday. Was the first outdoor meet that went by the wayside.
Yeah, Lisbon's responded, said no, they can't do anything, and then we were supposed to go to West Fargo Cheyenne on Friday. They had to cancel that as well too. So, I don't know, right? Everybody's got there, and they're trying to travel and come here and go there. We've looked at heading south a little bit, so we'll see what those towns come up with in the next couple weeks if we can get down there a couple hours and see how that works.
I know some western teams are getting, because there's not as much snow in the western part of the state, and I think they're getting some outdoor meets. And I know there was a big one in Bozeman, Montana, that a lot of North Dakota schools went to.
Oh, yeah, those West teams were like, yep. I mean, yeah, we could drive to Watford City, but I'm not.
Not to Bozeman.
I'm not interested in, and every now and then we do have some of those West teams that come to like, something in the East. And it's nice to be able to compete against them. We've always said it's nice to go out West if we can. We've traveled to Bismarck and that we haven't gone any further. So, but if the opportunity arises and we can do it, then definitely we'll jump on a bus and go.
Is it hard to gauge what is going to be a strength of this team, being that you're indoors compared to outdoors?
Yeah, a different measurement. Like you talk about records being broken and things like that. Well, obviously they're running well inside on a tighter track and facility. So when you get outside and you can expand that, they should be faster. And then overall, we haven't really been able to see our whole team, compete as a team and putting kids in several events. We've had to scale back a little bit. And so we're starting to fill up those events. In this next meet at NDSU, I think we're pretty close to covering almost everything. And so, it'll be a good way to see how we're doing and gauge, how our younger kids are doing versus our older kids as well. So.
I know some of the JV kids had, I was at the NDSU meet. There was a 2-dayer. That Friday was varsity. JV went on Saturday on the 25th of March. And some of the JV kids performed pretty well.
I've been very impressed with them. And we have some kids that have been trying to dual sport and do a lot of different other things. Speech, is getting in there too. They're doing awesome. Honestly, I mean, I can't say enough the hard work that they're putting in. When it's time for practice, they train, and now we just got to see them perform, like you said. So,
relays. I know that the girls usually have a solid 4x8 and 4x4. Looking for some strength in that in your relays.
Yeah, and we're mixing in a few kids here in this next meet. Before we had in the last couple, we've kind of shuffled them around a little bit just to see how they perform, putting some younger kids with some older ones, things like that. Yep. Now this meet here, we're kind of said that, we have our top performances now. We have a little list, so we're grabbing from our top 4 or 5 and putting them in a team, and then the next group in a team. So trying to see, how they do now, and it's good for them because pretty soon here, I think, the weather seems to be going like it's supposed to, we might end up, splitting some kids up so they have the opportunity to get familiar with each other on those relay teams. But
the indoors are almost like a pregame or a preseason, if you will, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's to kind of get you ready for the outside, right? Yeah. And that's the goal. Typically, we would be getting outside already right now, and that indoor season would be over. But right. Nothing counts on the indoor. It's great and it looks good, but now you got to perform in outside, and so we got to keep that going. And the big thing is trying to now is state qualification is what's hanging out there, and trying to get kids qualified for state. Again, trying to get them qualified early, versus later, and especially with the weather the way it is. Who knows how wet it's going to be, and temperatures may drop. You never know around here, and so the opportunities could be scarce, and so we want to try to get get those kids qualified as quickly as possible.
And when the meets come, they're going to come fast and furious, aren't they?
They will. I've told the kids that you're going to be busy, and you got the whole balance. We had to talk about grades and everything else right now, and just making sure that they're keeping up on those things, because it does get to be a lot of afternoons, where you miss. And if we have to, then unfortunately, maybe some kids just don't get to travel that day. But we'll go with who we can. And if, in the past, if something's popped up, we I'll call who can go, and let's go.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you got a lot of 8 honor roll kids on the track team, so you should be okay in the.
Yeah, we've typically had a pretty good grade point average. I always tease every year at our award social. I tell the grade point averages when we get them from the staff, and the boys have yet to beat the girls in grade point average. So,
so you're telling them, all right, fellas, come on now,
let's get it together. You guys, come on, man, pick it up a little bit.
Let's go.
But, overall, I mean, we generally our kids are pretty good getting stuff in, and they understand the process. So
that's why they're called student athletes.
Well, absolutely, and the school does come first, right? And I've always told them too that school comes first. So if it means, hey, they got to take a test or they're late for practice because they're getting things done, then that's what you're here for, right? And these things are the extras.
Exactly.
So.
Final question: is there an EDC indoor too? Is there anything left for indoor other than tomorrow's?
No, our 2 meets got canceled. We were supposed to have a JV EDC up at Grand Forks on the Tuesday. And then Thursday was supposed to be the varsity, right? And so we had the team split up into 2 meets. But yeah, that went away. UND has said there's no rescheduling, so with their facilities. And, colleges are the same way, right? They offer their facilities, but they still need to get in and use them too and train because they're picking up on their sports too.
They're their facilities.
Absolutely. It would be nice to be up there, but it is what it is, and I think we'll just try to focus our attention on the outdoors now. So.
All right. Well, good luck tomorrow at NDSU, and thank you to the Bison for opening their doors to the teams to get out there.
Absolutely, yes. It's a great facility.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is Coach Trevor Bacalar from the Valley City Highlander track and field team. We'll be back with tennis. That's on the way next as Coach's Corner continues from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. And welcome back to Coach's Corner here on this beautiful Wednesday evening here in Valley City. Now we're heading into tennis season, and we are joined by head coach Matt Nielsen. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Were they getting out today? Were they going to get outside? I saw some pictures.
Yes, we finally got outside today. I shouldn't say finally because we are probably the only outdoor sport in the Eastern Dakota Conference that's actually practicing outside. Huge thank you to all of our volunteers that helped move some snow. Some big players were Brent Thompson, my dad, Chad Zahn, Ken Kohler, Eric Kringley, our whole tennis team, the boys team, other parents. Like it was a lot of people doing a lot of moving of snow. But we were outside, and I even texted the whole EDC tennis coaches crew today, and I said, hey. And I showed them pictures of us outside. I go, hey, I don't know what your guys' practice plans are, but we're doing good over here in Valley City. And I got many angry responses back, along with photos of them with Davies has they had 60 girls on hardwood floors in a space smaller than the hack. So I was like, we're doing well
we're
in
doing
Valley.
good.
We're doing very well in Valley
We're
City.
doing good. Well, let's talk about this team, Coach. A lot of high expectations coming into this year.
Yep, we from last year, 2 years ago, we kind of came out of nowhere. We state qualified with a whole brand new group of kids. I mean, we have state qualified in the past, but it was a brand new group of kids that we state qualified with 2 years ago. And then this last year, they went on a tear. And we finished with an amazing record. I think it was 13-5, and we made the state tournament in a roundabout fashion because we lost the first match of the EDC tournament. We had to come back and win 2, and we had to beat Grand Forks Central, a team that beat us in the regular season. We had to beat them to go to state, and we beat them. Fargo North had a major upset that moved us to the 3 seed, gave us a little easier bracket at the state tournament. We actually went through and took 5th place at state last year. So kids that graduated, we had Faith Orr and Trinity Nelson, and they did play a little bit of the low varsity for us, but our 7 core players we have back this year. So like you said, high expectation. We talked about it as a team. We know that when we play, we aren't going to worry about that outcome. We're going to play our hardest, but I know these girls, like their eye in that, hey, can we make it to an EDC championship match? Can we win that first round at state and see what we can do? So they're thinking that way, and I go, it's good to think that way because it helps you with your goals, your motivation. Like even when you don't want to practice, you have a goal. Like, yep, I need to practice hard. Even though I don't feel like it, I need to practice hard. I need to do the right things because I want to help this team accomplish great things at the end.
And I think because of the expectations, that's what makes it a little more, at least from a fan standpoint, where I'm eager to see what they can do. And it's frustrating with the longer winter, you'd like, we want to get them out there. We want to see what this team can do.
Well, and this team has impressed me a lot so far. We've been in Jamestown in the track facility and indoor court. Like I said, we've been outside today. But we're having some just amazing rallies, and it's not our 1 and 2 having amazing rallies. It's our 1 through 8, 9 that all can have amazing rallies, and our number 8 can beat our number 1 sometimes in a point. And like, so we are incredibly deep, and I would say it's definitely the deepest team we have this year. And we may not be the strongest team 1 through 8, but we are definitely probably the deepest team in the state 1 through 8.
So I know you had mentioned to me, I think you saw it was a number 9 maybe-ish was playing against a number 2, and the way you were watching it, you thought this was an EDC
It was an EDC number 2 match. Yeah. Like I watched it, I'm like, we had a number 9 player that was just playing an absolute amazing point. And I just looked at it going, man, there's a lot of number 2 points in the state that don't look nearly as good as this one. So, I mean, it is a lot of fun. And if you looked at last year, we had Kaylee Nielsen, my daughter, and then Georgia Zahn and Abby Redford. And that they played our 4, 5, and 6 last year. And I think their winning percentage last year was about 80%. So now they're all coming back. So that's why I'm saying we are definitely a really deep team.
And you and I have talked about this before. This team may be young in age, but not inexperienced.
Not inexperienced. So like all the girls that are on this team this year have already state qualified twice. Like they've been in this program, and really you're like, well, wow, if you already did that, you must be graduating a lot. No, our big crew is juniors. We have Olivia Ingstead this year as our big senior player on the varsity that we will graduate this year, so we will get everybody besides Olivia back next year. So, I mean, we are still only a lot of juniors.
When you have a team as deep as this, is it a nice problem to have, you as a coach, finding that right combination? Maybe it's in the doubles category, or, does it help you in your decision-making process?
Well, and I'd say it's a really good problem to have because, like, we can play 8, 9 kids. You only need 6 for an EDC match, but we have 8, 9 kids that can really play. So and I've talked to my team and said, hey, different matches, we're going to try different doubles. You might only play doubles or only singles because we want to give these younger girls or the 7, 8, 9, we want to give them experience because I say, you know what, you never know what happens come regional time. Does someone get an injury? Is someone sick? Like, you don't want to be like, oh, we're going to the state tournament or the regional tournament, and now we have to play someone that doesn't have experience. So I've let them know we have the depth. We're going to get a lot of people experience, so that way we will make sure we have the right lineups when it happens. And if something happens where a kid, one of our players can't be playing, someone else will be able to take their spot, and we'll be confident in them.
You have to just have that mindset, I'm the next person up. If something happens, I got to be ready.
Yep, and I think all those girls are practicing hard, and everybody is interacting well with each other. They're complimenting each other. They're helping each other out. It doesn't matter if it's our 1 or our 8. Like, the atmosphere we have this year is so far. I mean, it's a week and a half in. We've been outdoors once, and they've been happy. They've been having fun together. they've been supporting each other. So it's a great culture that those girls have established.
And of course, in tennis, the people, if they have had a chance to go out and watch, you and your coaching staff can maybe go up between sets. You can talk with them, but for the most part, they have to think on their feet. No pun intended. While they're during a match, they have to really have that high tennis IQ and understand what's going on, and without you helping.
And that's what we've been working on this year, was that tennis IQ. That a lot of times you work on your fundamentals a lot, right? So we've been working our fundamentals a lot. They know where to be in singles. They know where to be in doubles. They know how we play highliner tennis and doubles. They have that down. So what we're really focusing on now is, all right, now that you have the basics down, now you have to really think about, what's my opponent doing? What are their tendencies? How do I play against them?
Right.
What's their weaknesses? So we're really focusing on that next level tennis. We're not milk and honey tennis. We're going high level tennis.
Who do you see as the team to beat? Who's going to be one of the top teams in the conference this year?
Well, in the conference this year, you got Grand Forks Central, who brings back everybody. They beat us, like I said, in the regular season, so they brought everybody back. They're going to be pretty good. Davies, their number one player is amazing. They have a really good number two. So I mean, Davies is going to be tough, because when you get to regionals, you have to play 3 singles, 2 doubles.
Yep.
Well, if they have a couple of the top players in the state in their singles lineup, that means we don't have room for error. We'd have to sweep the rest of them to get it. So I mean, they're going to be tough, but I think we're going to be right there with them. That we'd be in the same breath as we'd be in the same breath with Davies, and I think we'd and then Cheyenne's going to be good also. So I think all of our teams are going to have very good matches, and it might be just on a given day who's going to win that one.
Maybe those intangibles that can sneak in in a match to get that victory for you. I know the first one was supposed to be the 18th at home at on the schedule, but I know where are we looking at schedule-wise?
So I talked to the West Fargo Packers have a new coach, and I talked to them, and next Thursday we're supposed to be away at their place. They still have snow on their courts, but their coach was confident that we'd be able to play there. So I think that'll be our opener, and if they can't, we have our 3 courts here, so they might come here.
Right.
But we already did reschedule Wahpeton from Tuesday to Saturday for an 11 a.m. home start. And we're only going to have our 3 courts because City Park's not usable yet, and the Parks and Rec new ones aren't surfaced yet, so we can't use those.
Right.
So it's just going to be on 3 courts. So we'll have varsity at 11, and then probably at about 1 o'clock, then we'll probably have some JV matches at 1.
Okay, and that'll be Saturday the 22nd.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's fun. It's just exciting to talk about matches and getting something going on.
Well, I think we're the only sport that's going to have stuff going on outside, right? Because track's indoors yet.
Track is still indoor.
Baseball, softball, who knows what's happening?
Yeah, they will probably play in May. No, we're hoping not. But final question, and I'm sure this is a loaded question, but you talk about the depth of this team. Could this be one of those years where you could see multiple girls getting to a state tournament?
Well, and if you look at last year, Breck and Olivia were all staters 2 years ago. Last year, they made it to state, and they knocked off the number 2 from the West. And then so we got those 2 that are multi-state qualifiers and all staters. Then you have Kaylee Nielsen qualified in singles last year, so we had 2 that went last year. Georgia Zahn was less than a set away from state qualifying, so she was right there. Abby Martinick and Abby Redfern actually had match points to state qualify. So, I mean, we were right there to having 3 or 4 last year. So, you know what? I really think if we can play within ourselves, don't look at the bracket, don't get too excited. Just go do what you know you can do. That, I mean, we do have a legit shot of maybe grabbing 4 state berths, which would be unheard of, and I would have to go back and talk to old coaches to go, has Valley City ever done that? If it does happen, but that would be a lot of fun, and it's not out of the question.
Something to think about.
Yes.
Something fun to think about. Well, again, April 22nd, hoping to get Wahpeton here for our home opener on that Saturday morning at 11 o'clock up at the North Courts. So it'll be a beautiful day. I can already tell you right now. Hey, isn't that Earth Day? April 22nd is Earth Day.
I don't know. I don't teach science.
Well, well, I know it's my parents' anniversary. That's why I know it's Earth Day.
There we go.
So let's hope it's Tennis Day, too, for that on April 22nd. But, Matt, again, I appreciate you joining us, and good luck here with this year's tennis team and the Highliners. And let's talk every week. We'll have some good things to talk about.
I hope so. Here we go. Thank you.
You bet. That is Coach Matt Nielsen from the Valley City Highliner girls tennis team. We'll be back and wrap things up for this edition of Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner, here from the Hack, and wrapping things up for our show here this evening. And again, my thanks to Trevor Bacalar and Coach Matt Nielsen from track and field and tennis joining us tonight. And next week, just a reminder, we will be on next Thursday. Next Thursday will be your show because of school board meeting on Wednesday night. Very big school board meeting, but we'll have next Thursday. That'll be the 20th of April. We'll have Coach's Corner right back here at the Highlander Activity Center, and not a lot of shows left. We're probably under 10 of these shows left to go here this season, and hopefully as we get into middle April and end of April, we've got more games to talk about and have baseball and softball on a regular basis. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this show, and again, my thanks to Jaden Johnson, our technical director and cameraman here this evening, and again, Coach Bacalar and Coach Nielsen for joining us on tonight's show. Back again next Thursday, 6 o'clock, here from the Hack. It's Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network.